Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today's tip 257. And I will mention that Doc V is going live starting this morning, actually at 9 a.m. I did post a link to his page on my page if you're looking to get a new fresh start as we go into the fall season. Today I thought I would talk a little bit about trusting your sources or double checking them. And it's only because I found an article that I was looking at, life hacks. We're all looking for hacks on things on life. And I found an article and I started looking at it in the past day or two, just for like hints or ideas of things that could help me along in my own journey or in things that I have to take care of. And I found one that actually talked about DIY life hacks. And while some of these might work, some of them you'll have to look into a little bit further. I know that this particular article had some good ones and it had some others that just kind of left me puzzled. So I'll just share a few of these as I just for today's live. And the first one they kind of mentioned, and a lot of us may already know about this, but if you have a lot of cords on your desk, this particular one talked about how you can use your binder clips and you can actually clip these to your desk, and you can use these as a method of holding your cords. So that's kind of a nice one if you clip that to your desk. So I thought that was a good life hack. The next one they kind of talked about I found very funny because for me it won't work. But it talked about another thing is if your cords start to fray, you can take these from inside of a pen. And maybe my pens are just very small, but I don't know how I would get this onto here, but that was a life hack. So it kind of made me start thinking about that. We have to be careful our sources, or we have to double check if what we're learning applies to what we are actually doing in our journeys. And I guess I started thinking about this because I am forever trying to learn in my journey. And well, hello, whoever that is. I'm not sure who, but well, good morning, Mary Doe. It's good to see you. And I decided today, it just kind of reminded me that I need to kind of take a look at what is information being offered to me and is it useful for me? Because we have so much information coming at us from so many sources these days that we have to be careful what we're following and what we're believing. Because while I do believe that for some people, like even these life hacks are very useful, like I do like this one where you actually put your cord, you can clip this right to your desk, and then you can put your cord in here. Well, see, and I can't even do it myself. But you can put your cords in here, and it will hold them steady for you so that if you have to take things apart, you've got them handy. But like this, like I said, this one here about using the spring of out of your pens, the spring's not big enough for any of the cords that I have to keep them from fraying. But it made me think about even my weight loss journey. What is it that I'm believing and what is it that I'm following? And what I guess what I'm even thinking about is what I'm doing today still useful going forward? While that spring may have worked 5 years ago, maybe it's not working for the size of cords today. And that's what I have to kind of think about in my journey, is what I'm doing today helping me to move forward. And what I know is that I'm kind of excited because Doc V is going live today, and I did put a link on my page. Oh, thank you, Mary Dawn. I appreciate that so much. Thank you very, very much. And we all know, and Mary Dawn Glenn is part of our paid challenge, and Doc V, he gives us information in a different way. Even if he revisits the topic, he explains it in a different way and makes us look at things differently. And the thing that's different about me in this journey being 5 years out is that I recognize that I have to keep looking at, does this spring fit my current cord? Does this clip work for what I'm doing right now? Is the food I'm eating working right now? Am I falling back to old habits? Do I need to readjust? And I'm kind of excited, even myself, 5 years out. As we all know, I started at a BMI of 60. I'm down over 160 pounds. I'm still moving forward on my journey. I know that I have to recommit and adjust and improve and reevaluate what I did yesterday to what I'm doing today. And I thought that's why this life hack article is so interesting, because some of what they offer is very useful. Like they're saying if you have a desk full of cords that you're holding on to that you don't know if you need or you do need them. They were talking about how you could take toilet paper tubes or paper towel tubes, wind up your cords and stick them in there, and it'll keep them from like spreading out. So some of these life hacks are beautiful tools and they help us to move forward. But what ones are not working anymore? What ones are causing stumbling blocks. And I'm thinking about that now as we recommit in October for the weight loss journey with Doc V. Is I need to keep moving forward. I just passed my 5-year mark. What can I do differently? You know, like I'm looking at as the winter months come on, my mom and I walk, and we did this morning already. We get up and we walk before the day starts, and it's funny because somebody yelled to us this morning as we were walking. So even in the dark, we still walked, and people know who we are, so it's really funny. But now I'm trying to look at, because it's dark and because there's going to be snow at some point, what am I going to do that is going to keep it going? Oh, thank you, Marito. Thank you so much. I want to keep moving forward. And so I'm looking at, you know, am I going to walk in the basement? Am I going to put YouTubes up? Am I going to walk outdoors when weather permits for it? How am I going to keep moving forward? Because the only way to stay engaged in this journey is to keep evaluating it and moving it. And that's where Doc V's challenge has been so helpful to me, because I can't get stale if I stay engaged in it with his group, because he is continually giving us information. He's continually reminding us of things we forgot, or he's introducing new ways. Like Doc V will be the first one to tell you, like gardening. I didn't garden until I joined this challenge, and now I've got like 6 types of lettuce started indoors because I know my outdoor journey is coming to an end. I learned something last fall because he warned me, but I thought I knew better. I had all these lettuces that were in beautiful shape outside. I brought them inside, but one of them had one of those little white natty aphid things, so I ended up losing all that lettuce. So this year what I did is I started it indoor. I will keep it indoor under a grow light, and then I won't have that issue. So as my fall season is outside, that lettuce will have done its useful purpose, and I'll move forward. But that's, I guess, what I wanted to think about today is we all have to continually grow and improve and learn. And that's a big thing with Doc V. That's why he goes live every day, is what can we do differently today than we did yesterday? Because what we did today won't work tomorrow or 3 weeks from now or a month from now or a year from now. And that's what I'll always be grateful for this journey. How did I hear about DRV? No, actually, you know what? I am not one of Doc V's patients. For those who don't know, I don't live in the same state as Doc V, and what happened is I was in another group, and what had happened, and my best to all the other groups out there, but I had joined a group of people who had had bariatric surgery about the same time as I did. A couple of them got this idea to start their own group, and they started it, and I actually met with them a couple of times, and I got a couple of friends through that group. And that group served its purpose for me in the very beginning. But what ended up happening is I got to a point where my weight loss had stalled for about 2 years. COVID hit, and I started to notice that everybody in the group was gaining weight, which was common for everyone. But I also was a person who had already lost 100 pounds once in my life, gained it all back, then had bariatric surgery. So I thought, if I'm seeing people in the group gaining weight, and in my journey, I started recognizing that they were cooking a lot of foods, and they were adding protein powder to a lot of foods to kind of get the protein levels up. Well, I realized for my journey, I needed to do something different. And I started looking around, and I didn't know where to go. And one of my friends had actually been following Doc V from that group, actually had been following Doc V. And when he opened up this leap year challenge, which was the February before COVID hit, or as COVID was hitting, she found Doc V, and she was part of his group when he first started the Doc V challenge. Well, when I kind of started talking to her on the side, because we were in challenges together and accountability partners in these other groups, she asked me to give Doc V a try. And I was kind of worried about it, and I'm so glad I did, because Doc V comes at it as a doctor who has a medical background. He is not our doctor. He doesn't act as our doctor, but he has the experiences of all the patients, and he has the experiences of the lives that he did, or the support groups that he did. So I came to it desperate. And what happened with me is Doc V helped me to look at my journey and to realize that I fell into a pattern of being attached to, if I lost weight this way for the first year after surgery, I thought that's how I had to stay. I didn't understand the need to continue to grow, which is kind of where today's topic came from. So a great question is, I needed to continue to be engaged in growing, learning, and improving my journey. So that's where Doc V came into play, because he forced me to look at things differently, and he forced me to continue to grow and to learn and to improve. And he even introduced the idea of all areas of our life. In order to fully engage in this journey and to win it, we have to be involved in changing every area of our life. So I am so grateful that I found Doc V. The other groups were useful for me at the point that they were at, but I think we were all going to get to a point where Doc V will even say it. If at some point in time we all need to change our mentors or to change our groups, because growth is going to come from introducing ourselves to different things. And where this group is wonderful is that because there's so many people, we're never going to exhaust the avenues of learning something new. Or he gives us the clues, like if there's a topic on your mind, reach out to YouTube. I YouTube everything. You know, I'm trying to grow celery right now and trying to figure out, you know, what is it needs. So I've kind of picked the brain of my parents, who came from families that did farming in prior generations, and my parents have pointers. Then I've been looking at YouTube for their pointers. Doc V gives us pointers. So if you can get excited about learning and growing, this journey becomes amazing, and you can find that you can still progress in it 5 years out. I was one of those patients that they thought would have to have a revision in order to reach my goal weight. I haven't reached goal weight yet, but that I'm 5 years out and I can still lose weight tells me that I'm not going to be one of those patients. I've learned that I have to continue to change myself, because whether I had another surgery or not, I'm going to have to learn to look at my life, evaluate, adjust, shift, or as Doc V says, fire, aim, fire, aim, fire, aim. Oh yes, I love the morning group too. And it's just amazing. So I know that we're all at different points in our journey, but the one thing about Doc V's group is that there are so many people who are at so many different points in the journey, and there's so much information. He gives us so many pointers, and sometimes we have to do our own research, but he gives us so much of a base that where we can go and dig in further so that we can specialize and fit the journey to what we need personally. And if we run into a stumble, there's always somebody to ask, somebody to help, somebody to direct us for the next step. So today, I guess I was just thinking about life hacks, and while some of them work, some of them are great. Like I said, this one had some amazing ones. It said, you know, like, it was talking about if you're putting passwords in on your computer, use those special characters like accented letters, things that people will never find. There were a million great little life hacks in here. If your power cord doesn't want to fit anymore, you just squeeze the two end pieces together. You know, there's all these kinds of hints and tricks. But in the same sense, we need to do the same kind of investigation and look for the hacks or look for the tips that other people have learned to make our weight loss journey move forward. Because if we don't have our weight loss journey, we don't have the opportunity to pursue all the other avenues of our lives. So I guess it's time for me to get into the workforce now, but I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I hope you're able to catch Doc V Live, and if you're not able to catch Doc V Live, go into the Transform group and you can catch a recording of it. And think about today that thing that you can change, or what is the pattern that you've gotten comfortable with that you can change. Doc V has helped me so much, and he's helped so many. And if we keep our minds open and we keep our journeys open, there's nothing that we can't accomplish together. Somebody's done it before, and in this group, there's always somebody willing to tell you what they did to overcome the obstacle that we're facing at this minute. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Thank you.